He don't win this year. He's a bum.
Joe, that's a Hall of Fame terrible take right there.
No, it's not. It's true. It's so true.
That take aged well, man.
Boy just choked. Straight women booty and let the ball go.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you.
LeBron James
puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound box. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Irving and Curry. One-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
Oh, yeah, but we'll get to explaining and debating in a second. What up, Joseph?
Hey, it's Sunday. It's 10 a.m. I'm here. I'm not hungover, so I'm here. It's a good sign.
And that's a win. And that's a win. And that's a win. We're gonna take that win. We got football starting in about 2 hours. We gave you our football picks on Friday, but today also marks the beginning of the WNBA playoffs. And, you know, our weekend episodes are usually dedicated to basketball. And, you know what? We got an exciting playoff run here to dive into. We had a little award announcement this morning from the WNBA. You know, Miss Unanimous, A'ja Wilson, did win MVP. We'll get some.
That's my best goat sound. That's my best goat. Yeah, she is the goat.
I got what you were putting down, Joe. I've got what you were putting down.
Not
historic season for her. We're going to talk about that in a second. Over the last few days, WNBA announced their newest expansion site. So their 15th team will be returning to an area that has previously had an NBA or WNBA team. Still one more planned expansion that we don't know. There's a few cities in the running. And then, of course, we're going to get into each individual series, give you our picks of who's going to win each one. We'll end the show with Love or Violence, and then let everybody go about their day watching, hopefully, some women's basketball and some football, because all should be exciting pieces to this fine Sunday here in September.
What do you mean? But you mean all those haters out there who are saying that the WNBA dropped the ball again because they got Caitlin Clark playing on Sunday? Like, bro, that's just how it goes. Like, if you're a true WNBA fan, you're gonna find a way to watch the game.
All right, it's just different.
You're gonna find a way to watch the game. Damn it.
Yeah. No, I think they'll be fine. And at the end of the day, game 1 is not going to be as important as game 3, if it gets to a game 3 or even a game 2. So we'll get into all of that. But let's start, Joe. A'ja Wilson, unanimous MVP, only the second time that's happened in WNBA history. She also is the first player to ever score 1,000 points in a season. Now, for those of you that are more NBA fans, like, wow, 1,000 points doesn't seem like very much. Keep in mind, they don't even play half the amount of games that the NBA players play.
That part.
So just keep that part in mind when you're thinking about, okay. Historic season for her. She also set the WNBA record for rebounds in a season. Now, that one has been a little controversial because she was trailing behind Angel Reese until Angel Reese got hurt. I would like to point out, A'ja Wilson did not play every single game this year either. But nonetheless, it's an absolutely historic season.
Thanks.
Obviously, she was unanimous MVP. Don't think there was really much of a debate. I know there's some people that only watched the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark that thought Caitlin should have got some votes there. No, the fuck she shouldn't have. Joe, what's your reaction to her winning the unanimous MVP? Her third
they're not on the same
MVP.
Level. Which she deserved unanimously. She's like, I don't think people realize how dominant and how good she is because she makes it look so easy. Like if she's at the elbow, it's a guaranteed bucket. Like she's that good, she's that dominant. She is the Shaq of the WNBA without the physical dominance. She's just that. I mean, she can physically dominate you, but the way she gets to the bucket, she makes it look so easy. The way she gets rebounds, she makes it just look easy. And I don't think people really are gonna appreciate her greatness until she's gone, and they're not gonna have a big that as dominant as she was. And they're gonna be like, man, we really missed that big that could do everything like that. I mean, because Angel Reese, she can rebound like A'ja Wilson, but she can't score like A'ja Wilson. She may turn into that, but A'ja Wilson been doing this since day one. Like that's why she has 3 MVPs. She already got a statue. She's probably gonna get another one. Like she's gonna be in that top 3, if not the greatest WNBA player by the time her career is over.
Yeah, again, and for context, this is only her 7th season. So 3 out of her 7 seasons she has won MVP. She is on an entire new level. I mean, just when you just look at the stats, Joe. One, she has started shooting threes in the last couple seasons, so she shot about 32% from three, right? That's to go along with her dominance inside, right? She shot almost 85% from the free throw line. So if you foul her, unlike with Shaq, you're still in trouble, right? 11.9 rebounds a game, 26.9 points per game. I mean,
insane. That's ridiculous.
2.3 assists a game, which is pretty good for a big. Only 1 turnover a game. And here's what really does it for me, Joe. This award has not been announced yet, but I will be even more upset than when Bam doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year. She's going to be Defensive Player of the Year as well. 2.6 blocks a game, 1.8 steals a game. Again, she's basically averaging 5, what a lot of people call now stocks a game, steals and blocks. That's absurd. That's just like an absurd domination of the basketball court. And I mean, there's not enough superlatives. There's not enough superlatives to describe A'ja Wilson as a basketball player this year. I mean, she was truly phenomenal. I know the Aces didn't quite have the same success that they've been having the last couple years, but I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Chelsea Gray started the season injured, had to kind of be slowly worked back. No Candace Parker this year is kind of that vet presence in the locker room.
People call
I think
ego, man. Like we see it in the NBA, you see it in the WNBA. I think it was a lot of ego where people were like, "Yeah, we went back to back. We gonna keep going. We rolling. We are champions. We all did this." No, to be real, yeah, you guys are all really talented, but A'ja Wilson is the reason you're getting open shots and making buckets and getting things like you get. If everybody just stay in their role and they know what's going on, they're gonna have a good opportunity to make another run at the championship. But if people get outside their roles like they did earlier in the regular season when they were coming back from injury and then all that middle of the season stuff turmoil that they had going on, it's gonna be tough for them. But they need to lean on A'ja Wilson and realize that she's the one that's forcing double teams. She's the one that has the defense leaning towards her. So that's why y'all getting open looks. And I think they kind of forgot about that earlier in the season.
Yeah, I mean, some of that just naturally comes when you don't have the person that has been setting up your offense the entire time of your team success, right? So like that's definitely part of it. It kind of lingered even as Chelsea Gray came back, but we saw as they kind of closed out the last part of the season, 9-1 in their last 10, things started kind of getting back to where they should be. Again, I think if you watch the games, they still were not quite clicking like we saw last year. Like they had a couple close games kind of with the Fever where it just kind of seemed like they would still at times get out of sorts, but nonetheless, that does not take away from A'ja Wilson's greatness. None of those issues were because of her. So shout out to A'ja. Hopefully she gets that Defensive Player of the Year as well. But let's move on to the kind of exciting news for the WNBA as an organization. Portland is named as the next expansion location. That is in addition to Golden State and Toronto, who are going to be getting teams in the next couple years. So there's still one more out there. Few sites and more details to come later there. But Portland did have a team early on in the WNBA's existence, the Portland Fire, from I believe it only lasted 3 years, 2000 to 2002. But Joe, what do you think of Portland as getting that next team for the WNBA? Do you think that's a good move for the WNBA? I think we all can agree that the timing of these expansion sites with Caitlin Clark and a new media deal coming all makes sense. But what do you think about Portland specifically as a city?
I like Portland. I like the idea of what the WNBA is doing. Like, come on, like, okay, Golden State, you went to San Francisco. That's a big city. Toronto, you went to another big city. And then you go to Portland. So at least now you have 2 major media markets, but then you also have Portland, which has shown that if they have a successful team or at least a semi-successful team, that they're going to come out in droves and go see them because there's not much to do in Portland. So I think this is a great opportunity for them to be like, okay, yeah, it's going to be hard to draw a lot of attention in Golden State and Toronto at first unless they win right away. But in Portland, you can get fans to come out right away just because it's a new team and there's not much to go do and not much going on. So I expect them with another expansion team. I think it would be another small market. I think that'd be a smart thing to do. I'm a little worried, to be honest, though, about the expansion in the WNBA because I feel like they're expanding a lot of teams at once. And we saw in the 2000s what that looked like when they started expanding in the NBA. And there were some years where the NBA was definitely watered down with talent-wise. And I know there's a lot more talent coming into the WNBA, but I just don't know if it's there yet for you to add 3, 4, 5 expansion teams in like a 5-year span. I'm a little concerned about that. We don't want a situation where people stop watching the WNBA again because it starts to be watered down, and all you have is 2 stars, and that's the only teams that they watch.
See, that's actually where I would disagree with that, Joe, because what I think we're seeing right now, just look at the Liberty, look at the Aces, like we're seeing kind of a consolidation of star power on a few teams to where I think
and
we have
true talent has
now
to sit and wait 4 years before they even get opportunity.
Exactly. So
Right.
if we get more
That's
teams
fair.
out there, then not only do you maybe spread out the talent and make a little more parity in the league, but you then also give kind of more of a showcase to those individual players once they have their own team, to kind of be a little bit more of a celebrity,
more
become
stars.
more of a superstar type role, right? I agree. I like the choice of Portland. I think a good indicator as well for the WNBA, which I'm assuming is part of the thinking for Portland. They've got a successful NWSL team, the Portland Thorns, the women's soccer league.
Oh,
So
that's a
I think
great point.
You can kind of see that
That's a
there is
great point.
already a base of people that are interested in women's sports. So I think Portland's a very smart move. Again, a lot of it's going to depend on if they can field a good team. Is the team going to be competitive? Are there going to be players that people want to watch? Right? Like, not everyone's going to be able to be the Fever and win the lottery of getting Caitlin Clark, but I think there's still plenty of players out there that can be exciting when given that type of role. If we want to use the Aces as an example, right? Kelsey Plum was kind of Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark, right? I mean, if you look at her numbers from Washington when she was in college,
That's
she
fair.
arguably put up better numbers than Caitlin Clark at times. I mean, all of the total counting stats that Caitlin was breaking was Kelsey Plum's, right? So like, we've got somebody like that could go to a new team, and she already, you can tell when she plays for the goddamn Aces, she wants to be
She's out of there.
She wants to be
She's
the
out of
star.
there.
So
Bro.
I mean, there's opportunities like that. So I like it. Excited to see how the WNBA keeps growing. They've put up some numbers and viewership numbers for them, and how that compared to like the NBA, not too far apart, especially when Caitlin Clark was on television. So good momentum, need to build on it, and it needs to become bigger than just Caitlin Clark, though. That's going to be part of it. It has to be bigger than just her. Give Asia some of that same love. But let's move on to the playoffs. So before we get to the playoffs, first round is only best of 3. So this is not like the NBA where it's always best of 7.
Newbies.
First round is just best of 3. So with that in mind, Joe, we'll go kind of easiest to hardest, I believe, for the first round matchups here. But we got the Liberty versus the Atlanta Dream. I think I know where you're going to go with this one. But what you got?
You know where I'm going with. Before we started, I was looking for my Sabrina Ionescu shoes, but they upstairs. So I'm going with Liberty. I told you they was the best team in the league this year. The Dream are talented. They got a lot of vets, and Tanisha Wright has done an excellent job as the head coach there to turn that team around pretty quickly and get them in the playoffs when they had, I think it was a 4-year stretch where they missed the playoffs, and now they're in the playoffs back-to-back years. I mean, I know they're not a dominant team, but with coaching and veteran players, that's a team you can't just go in and think that you're going to sit there and beat them easily. You got to take game one serious. But the Liberty, I just think they have too much offensive firepower. Like Stewie and Sabrina is just too much. Like the Dream's going to have to play perfect and try to steal game one if they even want a chance. But that's highly unlikely. You got to go with Liberty in this one.
Yeah, it's not really much of a competition, in my opinion. I think that'll be an easy 2-0 for the Liberty. I mean, there are some names. There are some names on on the Dream. Tina Charles has been in the league for a long time. She had the
they would be a scary
record,
team 7 years ago.
Ryan Howard, kind of a shot chucker, but if she gets
hot,
she can. I mean, she's gonna take about 8-10 threes a game. So if she's knocking them down that game, then look out, and that can be a kind of scary thing within just a 3-game series, right? Because she just has 2 hot nights, then all of a sudden, look out, you might be in trouble. Alicia Gray, very talented player as well. Again, the Liberty are kind of operating on a different level right now. So this is not disrespect to the Atlanta Dream. This is just how good the New York Liberty are. I expect this to be 2-0. I expect this one to be 2-0. Next, we got 2 versus 7. One of the hottest teams since the All-Star break. I believe the hottest team since the All-Star break in terms of record. The Minnesota Lynx versus the Phoenix Mercury. Most notably with Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi. Obviously, St. Louis finest Nafisha Collier on the Minnesota Lynx. So, Joe, what you got here?
Actually, the Mercury scares me because, like you said, Taurasi and Brittany Griner, like, those are vets who've been there, done that. They can find a way to steal a game. But I just think Minnesota has been one of those teams up there all year long, too. And they had a stretch where they were unhealthy, and they're finally getting it healthy together. And I think having that health going into the playoffs is gonna help out a lot because they may not be conditioned for game 1, which is that worries me a little bit, but they're gonna be healthy and not as injured because they're finally coming back from injuries. So I'm gonna stick with Minnesota. I think this is gonna be 2 games for them too, but I would not be surprised if Mercury made game 1 real close, just because the veteran talent that's been there and done that before. Like you gotta be nervous when you see that.
Yeah, I mean, if you see Diana Taurasi on a court, you always have to be vigilant. I would say the thing that worries me the most if I'm a Lynx fan, Nafisha is more of a who's like a good NBA comparator. She's kind of she's a wing, but she likes to play inside a lot. Maybe similar in style to like Paulo Banchero, right? Kind of a bigger wing that can out physical. That can out physical some other wings, but there's going to be Brittany Griner waiting for it at the rim. So that's kind of a dynamic. Now, Nafisha has obviously worked a lot on her outside shot and has shot the ball very well this season, so she could very well minimize that risk at the rim. But I'm just like, that would be the thing that kind of worries me is they have somebody that could maybe make life for your best player difficult. Now, on the flip side, I think they've got just too many wing defenders that they can throw at an aging Diana Taurasi to where I don't know that she's going to really be able to turn back the clock like she kind of needs to if the Mercury are going to take that next step and actually win this series. I would say I would not be shocked if this one goes. Yeah. Which I don't know if she's got the conditioning to really do that.
Right, exactly.
But I wouldn't be surprised if this one went 3, but I'm kind of with you, Joe. I think this is another 2-0. I think the Lynx take this one. And they've been, just throughout the entire season, they've been
really good.
Outside the Liberty, the most consistent team. So I have to give them credit for that. Last game, Joe, or not last game. Next series, we got the Connecticut Sun, who's kind of been my other team that I kind of enjoy watching outside of the Aces.
You can have more than one team. Okay.
No, I just said enjoy watching.
I got you.
I didn't say I'm rooting for them. I didn't say I'm rooting for them. Don't do that. Don't do that, Steelers, Cowboys, and Rams. All right?
Hey, Steelers won last week. That was the only team that won.
Connecticut Sun versus this is going to be the talked about series, right? Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. This is a very interesting matchup. I think beyond just the fact that it's Caitlin Clark and that's going to draw eyeballs.
No, this is a rivalry. They can say what you want. This is a rivalry.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynamics.
They play each other too much in the regular season, man. Like, this is a legit rivalry, I think, because the way they go after Caitlin Clark in the regular season, I think they're going to do it even more in the postseason to make a point. I think the Connecticut Sun, I don't trust them offensively, but I just think they finna come out with the clamps. They finna come out with the black forces and just straight say, hey, they ain't blowing the whistle. This is the playoffs now. Caitlin Clark going to get frustrated, and we seen her get frustrated. If you can hack her and they don't call it because it's the playoffs and you get her out of her source just a little bit, it's going to be interesting. And it's Leah Boston's first time in the playoffs too. It's a young team. I think Connecticut going to come in and say, hey, welcome. It's going to be another welcome to the league moment for Caitlin Clark. I really do. And I think people are going to be upset when they see the film and they watch this game and they see how she's getting beat up and fouled. but that's exactly what the Connecticut Sun gonna do. Because if Fever win game one, I think if Fever can win game one, I think they can win the series. So I think Connecticut gonna come out serious and put them clamps down. I think they may intentionally foul Caitlin Clark right off the bat just to let her know she's there, hip checker, just to let them know they there. They're gonna be on her ass all day. So I think this is gonna be one of the most intriguing matchups in the entire playoffs.
This is gonna be must watch.
I think it's a legit rivalry. It's gonna be crazy.
Pissed
the energy's
the
gonna be nuts.
Play at 4:00 today, like right in the middle of this game, because I want to be. This one's going up on
this
one.
Game at 2:00, isn't it?
3:00 for me. 3 Eastern, 4 Eastern. So like they're gonna be overlapping. Because I want to be just completely locked into this one. But let me just break down, in my opinion, what are some of the intriguing parts of this series. One, it's complete clash of styles. Fever want to get up and down the court, get as many shots up as they can. Connecticut Sun, they want to play a slower game, defense, grind out games, grind out wins, right? That right there, just contrasting styles. Which one is going to be able to have a greater gravity on the game? Two, Dejanay Carrington is dating Melissa Smith on the Fever. So
I did not know that.
We have a couple going against each other. Now,
what? I did not know that.
Melissa has been fairly vocal about how she doesn't think she gets utilized correctly on the Fever. And Dejanay has been very vocal, saying, like, yeah, they don't utilize my girlfriend enough. So very interesting there. And then the last one you already kind of touched on. How is this game officiated? All right, how is this series officiated? That's going to be a huge, huge sign of who's going to win this. If they're calling touch fouls and all that, Sun could be on upset alert. As much as that,
she get that early Steph Curry treatment.
That's exactly what I was going to bring the comparison to. Because when you remember, I'm talking about before they won their first, when they won their first championship of those years leading up. A lot of those teams, hey, come here, Steph, grabbing him as he's trying to run around, screens and pin downs and everything. They're just grabbing him, bumping him all around the court, and eventually it kind of wore down. We saw early in Steph's career, he wasn't always able to create the same magic in the playoffs that he could in the regular season. Does Caitlin Clark have that same type of adjustment? Hopefully she is mentally prepared for it. But I've been saying this now for a while on this show. She gets flustered when she doesn't get calls that she thinks she should get.
Yes, she does.
And she seems to think that anytime something doesn't quite go her way, it's a foul, right? But then on the flip side, if she's on defense and she does the exact same shit that she's getting mad is being done to her, and then gets called for a foul, then she also gets.
Oh, she low key dirty. She grab a lot. She low key she's not a good defender, so she be doing low key tricky stuff. If we watch her off ball and stuff, she be doing all that shit.
She's not as athletic as a lot of the players, so she has to do things to try and even the playing field. I don't got any hate on that.
It sounded like you said she had a little bit of James Harden in her. That's what I heard.
Don't do that. No.
I'm just saying that's what you said.
I made the proper comparison to
Steph Curry.
I made the proper comparison to Steph Curry. That's the NBA player archetype that she follows the most, not some bullshit James Harden. I ain't doing her like that.
You just described James Harden's personality.
No.
Okay.
No.
Don't act like James Harden didn't have 4 years where he was a bucket getter.
Don't act like Steph hasn't gotten flustered. But she doesn't hog the ball.
Steph definitely got flustered, but I'm saying you're right. Maybe they'll let Aaliyah Boston do a bunch of illegal screens, and then
Draymond.
They'll make a run. Yeah, like Draymond, and they'll be able to make a run.
Yeah,
so that's how it works.
The thing that's going to ultimately be interesting though for the Sun, can they consistently find buckets, and if the games are close at the end, can they get those tough buckets? Right? DeWanna Bonner, is she going to be able to do enough? A lot of their players kind of too. Yeah, she's getting up there as well. It's just a lot of their players just kind of make their mark defensively. Like that's what you would think of a lot of their players for, is not necessarily their offense. So it's going to be. They got some. They share the ball very well. Alyssa Thomas, one of the best players in the league as well. Like they've got players. I'm not saying that they can't compete offensively with some of these top tier teams, but the Fever are going to try and get up and down. Like they are going to try and get up and down the court. So we'll see. Alyssa Thomas is going to have to be in her Chris Paul bag in terms of how she's setting up her teammates. But let's move on to the main course here, Joe. Our Aces.
Yep,
Only got the
sir.
4 seed.
It happens,
They are going
bro.
to be playing.
Happens,
They're going to
bro.
be playing the Seattle Storm, who, in my opinion, are much closer to the tier of the top 4 seeds than, say, the Fever, Mercury, or Dream. So
I
they
get
definitely
that.
put themselves on the harder path towards the championship. But 3-peats aren't supposed to be easy, Joe.
They remind me of like you going and you about to play the Orlando Magic. Like, yeah, they're a good team, but they're a couple years away. They're a couple years away. Like they are. Like, come on, they're going against the Aces. Like, come on now. That's like, okay, if the Bucks or I guess the Celtics had to play.
There are way
Magic.
too many vets on the Seattle Storm for you to be saying they're like the fucking Magic.
No, I mean they are. They got vets, but like they don't scare me. You know what I'm saying? They're a good team, but they don't scare me. Like maybe it's because they're going against the Aces. Like I think it's just gonna be too much for them. I just think they a step or two away. Like they go a couple years away. It's not gonna happen for them this year. The Aces, if they just like I said earlier, get their head out their ass and play basketball like they have been, and it seemed like they've finally been clicking and getting back into that groove of things. But we said the same thing about the Denver Nuggets, and we saw them shock and lose. So they're gonna have to come out and play for real. But I'm not scared of Seattle.
I just want to say, like,
it's not the same
Seattle
team.
have a very good kind of big 3. Jewel Lloyd, about a 20-point per game scorer. Nika Agamake, 40% shooter from 3. Skylar Diggins Smith, another 15 points per game. I mean, like they got like a really good.
Yeah.
I mean,
4 years ago, I'd have been like, damn, what? Are you kidding me? You know I'm right. You know I'm right, bro. You know I'm right. Umake is really good. She's super underrated, but like she's
damn near a 40, 50, 90 player. She was 2 percentage points on her free throw percentage away from being a 40, 50, 90 player.
Yeah,
right?
but there's something about her.
Don't do that.
Open at my door, bro. Whatever, bro. Oh, whatever. You just being nice. You just want to be nice. I'm gonna treat them just.
I mean,
like
don't
we
get
treat
twisted.
them
I'm picking
in
the Aces.
NBA.
I'm picking the Aces, but I'm just saying this is definitely a different tier of team than.
Okay,
like,
fine.
Even
like
the
going
Indiana
up against
Fever, right? Like the Indiana Fever have Caitlin Clark.
It's like going against.
Jewel,
it's like going
Kelsey
against
Mitchell.
Cleveland Cavaliers. How about that?
All right, I can live with that. I can live with
that. A little bit better. That a little bit better.
I can live with
yeah,
that.
They got like somebody Donovan Mitchell who like okay, he can get you 41 night, but you're not really scared of him to win a series.
They got 3 legit stars, but none of them which you're really worried about with. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll live with that.
And you know, I'm right.
So are you going Aces? I'm assuming in 2 then.
I'm going Aces in 2 for sure. Especially after Asia Wilson just got the MVP. Like you have to. You can't do this, bro. Like
I will say, if the Storm want to have a chance, they better win tonight. I don't see them winning 2 in a row.
Yeah, I agree with you that they got to win game 1. Yes.
So I could see it going 3. I'll pick Aces in 2, but Ace is gonna do it. I mean,
come on, bro.
Asia's gonna be on a different type of time. Different type of time.
And you know she does. You know she will be.
Yeah.
You gotta take the Aces, bro.
Aces. All right. I didn't make the topic headline, Joe, but I mean we need to do it. I don't know why I didn't do it. I'll make one for us real quick.
What is it?
But we gotta do a finals prediction. We gotta do a finals prediction.
Damn.
So
let me look at
now, before you say something stupid, just know the Liberty and Aces cannot meet in the finals.
That's what I thought. That's why I was like, let me look at the bracket. Yeah, they sure can't. Damn. Come on, bro. Oh my God, I just realized that. So if the Aces win, they gotta play the
second round.
Wait, no, they don't have to. They gotta play Liberty. No, they don't play Liberty in the second round. Then if they both won,
1 versus 4, and 2 versus 3.
Oh, unless Minnesota loses, Connecticut gonna win. Unless the Fever win, right? If the Fever win, then New York has to play them, right? Because they'd be the lowest seed. It'd be 1-6, right?
I believe they do the reseed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they reseed.
I think they do reseed. I should know that off the top of my head, but
Well, they
I'm pretty sure they
also
reseed. I'm pretty sure they
right, yeah.
reseed.
Also, like, yeah, I like that. They should do that in the NBA too. Where like the East-West shit.
Well, but I don't know. The bracket, the way the bracket looks, doesn't look like they reseed.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's what I was trying to find the bracket. Damn, bro, we gotta do a finals prediction for real.
Hit me.
Oh, dog. I'm taking the Aces, bro. I gotta go. The Aces. Come on, dog. I gotta take the Aces too.
team in the WNBA. I've been telling you guys all year.
They are the best team in the WNBA, but they don't have the best player in the WNBA. And sometimes when it comes down to it, you got to pick the best player. And we've been talking about how good she is. I think that A'ja Wilson could put the team on her back and beat any team in the WNBA. And the players, she got enough talent around them. Jackie Young gonna have a couple 40-piece games in the playoffs. I mean, damn, it's just I gotta go with the Aces, bro. Until they prove me wrong, it's like picking the Warriors for that stretch they was in. Until they prove me wrong, or picking the Miami Heat. Until they prove me wrong, I gotta go with them. It's like LeBron going to 10 straight finals.
Aces over
bro.
who? Aces over who? I'm letting you off that easy.
Minnesota. I got Minnesota going. Get the same. Oh, you know how cool. Come on, yeah, we need some St. Louis love in here. You know how crazy that'd be? St. Louis person won the NBA finals. St. Louis person won the Stanley Cup, and then a St. Louis person won the WNBA. Be dope. But it's not gonna
That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
I'm gonna take A'ja Wilson.
All right. Well, we're gonna match then. I got Aces over. I got
Have
Aces
to,
over
bro.
Lynx. I got Aces.
Oh, you
over.
think the
I'm not
Lynx
the
too?
one that's been I'm not the one that's wavered on the Aces all year. All right. I said I expect them to get together. They're gonna be fine. Blah 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 blah.
That's true.
Last 10, 9-1. Talk to me.
But the Liberty were looking so good though.
They are. I mean, the Liberty could do it. It's not like the Liberty can't do it. But I
mean, they got two people though. They got two people. Like I just don't trust their depth when it comes into the playoffs. Like they're a really good team, but if they come down to a longer series, you know, every coach has to make an adjustment, put a player in. You expect to do that. I just don't know who Liberty can do that with. Like if Sabrina's not having a good game or if Stewie's not having a good game, who's going to be that person to step up? Right. It's going to have to be Sabrina or Stewie going to have to put up a 40 piece instead of 25.
And we saw how that went.
Yep.
Last year.
A loss.
It didn't.
Exactly. So.
Right, Joe. You know how we end this show.
Good.
We choose love. We choose violence. What you got?
I'm going to choose love for now.
Man, look at you. It's 2 straight
I know,
episodes
man.
of love for you.
I'm going to choose love. Travis Hunter may be the best college football player I've ever seen in my life. I thought it was Charles Woodson. I swear. I thought this may be the greatest football player I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a football player be so impactful on the offensive side of the ball, score touchdowns, make catches, and then play on the other side of the ball and make the game-winning tackle. The most pure, perfect form tackle, head up, face mask on the ball, right at the goal line. This dude he should win the Heisman. I don't care if Colorado win no more games. Travis Hunter is the best player in college football. He is the best college football player I've ever seen in 31 years of my life. So I'm going to give him love, and I hope he's the number 1 pick overall. 30, I know, right? Damn. But I've seen a lot of good football. Larry Fitzgerald was my favorite college football player of all time for a while. This dude right here, he Larry Fitzgerald on one side, and then on the other side, he fucking Ed Reed. Like, this dude is crazy. Man, Travis Hunter's great. He's
been insane. He's been insane. I'm gonna go baseball again. I'm going love this time though. My Cubbies, like last remaining world champion from the 2016 team, most likely made his last start at Wrigley Field on Friday. Kyle Hendricks started Game 7 for the Cubs when they won the World Series. So I'm just gonna show some love to the professor, Kyle Hendricks. I've always enjoyed watching him. He fits my eye as a pitcher. So we'll be sad when he most likely moves on to a different team or retires at the end of this season.
The Seattle Cubs. That's what they are, bro. That's what they are, bro. Every time they get a chance to win a World Series, and what they do, blow up the team. And then now y'all gonna be asked for another 100 years.
Don't do that.
Is that not what Seattle did? Is that not what Miami did too? Miami did the same shit. I'm just saying. They win and then they blow all this shit up. That's exactly what the Cubs did.
They held on to the core for a while. They held on to the
too
core
long.
For a while.
Y'all thought Chris Bryant was going to the Hall of Fame. Shit crazy.
Plantar fasciitis, motherfucker. You got the MVP though.
That's true. Plantar fasciitis will do that to you. I get it.